Magandang araw. So our topic for today is curvilinear motion. Nasa dynamics pa rin tayo, West 0 to 6. Okay? So we are now at our second period. So starting with curvilinear motion. So curvilinear motion is divided actually into three. Pero ngayon, pag-uusapan lang muna natin ay yung dalawa, which is yung rectangular and normal and tangential. So, pero prior to that, i-discuss na rin natin kung ano ba yung curvilinear motion. So, the objective for the first discussion or the introduction to the curvilinear motion is for you to be able to discuss the motion of the particle traveling on a curved path. Okay, and then for the second one, which is curvilinear motion in rectangular components, the objective is for you to be able to use differentiation and integration techniques to calculate the characteristics of a particle traveling on a curved path. So, ibig sabihin, nag-utilize tayo ng calculus na. Okay? To determine the motion of a particle traveling on a curved path, yung kanyang position, yung kanyang velocity, yung kanyang acceleration, the direction of its motion, etc. And then for the last portion of this discussion is we will discuss the normal and the tangential components. Okay, so tatlo. Actually, meron pang isa which is yung projectile motion, but we have already discussed the projectile motion. Si projectile motion kasi is just a 2D. Okay? Pagdating dito sa natitira, meron tayong 3D at meron pang isang 2D. So for the last discussion, again, the normal and tangential, we need to calculate the normal and the tangential component of the particle's motion. So, introduction muna tayo. Ano ba yung tinatawag na curvilinear motion? So, curvilinear motion occurs when a particle traveled along a curved path. Kapag ka ikaw ay lumiliko sa kurbada, kapag ikaw ay nag-itcha ng bato sa ere papunta sa iyong kaibigan, that is a curvilinear motion. Ibig sabihin, projectile is also a curvilinear motion. Okay? So, to describe this three-dimensional path, we will use vector analysis. So, hindi naman limited, okay, or hindi lang vector analysis yung pwedeng gamitin. Marami naman. Pwede kang mag-scalar formulation. Hindi lang vector formulation. Like nung ginawa natin sa ating projectile motion, applicable din naman yung ating scalar formulation. Okay? So, hindi lang vector. Pero for the sake of discussion in this one, gagamitin natin yung vector analysis. Okay? In this section, we'll cover the fundamental aspects of curvilinear motion. In the next sections, we'll delve into three different coordinate systems that are commonly used to analyze such motion or yung ating tinatawag na curvilinear motion. Now, sir, bakit kailangan pa nating aralin yung vector analysis if we can use the scalar? Because mas madali or mas madaling, basically, mas madaling i-describe yung motion or the position of the particle using the vector. Kasi we have yung, if you will remember, yung ating, ayun, nawawala. Yung ijk, okay, that is our vector. I represents the direction on horizontal, j represents on the direction actually hindi vertical but rather on this side, and then K represents the vertical direction. Okay? So, mas madali daw kasing i-discuss yung motion ng particle o pagka ganito yung ginamit natin. So, puntahan natin muna yung position. So, assuming that there is a particle here, yung P does not represent the particle but rather represents the position of the particle. So, dito meron tayong particle, okay, with a position P. So, kung meron tayong position na yan, yung particle natin, in a 3D space, pwede nating i-represent yung kanyang position using a vector formula. Okay? Let's say, ang ating particle, ang coordinate nito is nasa 3, 2, 1. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Ang pangit naman. Balitan natin. Parang hindi pinag-isipan. What happened? Discard. Okay. So, for example, this position is say for -8 and then 1. This is the initial position of the particle. Now, syempre, if we want to describe the position of the particle, we can use vector form. So in this case, the vector position of the particle should be 4i minus 8j plus k. Okay? If the particle moves, nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa position. And yung pagbabago sa position na yan is what we call the displacement. So, displacement now is the change in position of the particle. Hindi yan yung path na tinravel ng particle, but rather the shortest distance from its initial position to its final position. According to this, now if we will read, consider the vector r prime defining the position p prime occupied by the same particle at a later time t plus delta t. Yung t plus delta t, it just mean na nagbago yung oras natin from initial time t, nagbago tayo ng certain delta t. Okay? The vector delta r joining p and p prime represents in the change in the position vector during the interval time delta t and is called the displacement vector. Therefore, itong delta r na to is what we call the displacement vector. Again, that is the change in the vector position from its initial position p to its final position p prime. Okay? As shown in the figure, we can obtain the vector r prime by adding the vectors r and delta r according to the triangle rule. Note that delta r represents both a change in direction and a change of magnitude of the position vector r. Hindi lang basta magnitude yung sinasabi na, for example, nagbago yung kanyang position ng 3 meters. Hindi lang ganon. Since vector yung pinag-uusapan natin at kapag vector, it should have a magnitude and position. Okay? So, if delta r is a vector, therefore it describes, okay, yung change in position in terms of magnitude and in direction. Hindi lang niya sinasabi kung gaano kalayo. Sinasabi rin niya kung saan pumunta, kung saan yung direksyon ng paglayo ng ating particle. Okay? So, kung nagbago yung position ng particle with respect to delta t, therefore, magkakaroon siya ng tinatawag na velocity. Since may pagbabago ng position with respect to time, we will have a certain velocity. Okay? And we can calculate the average velocity of the particle. So, paano naman natin kukunin yung average velocity? Again, average velocity here is also a vector. Paano natin nasasabing vector? Kapag ka bold letter yung ginamit, bold and non-italic letter, that is a vector. Kapag ka italize, okay, hindi yan vector. Magnitude lang yan. Okay? Kapag ka italize and hindi bold, that is only a magnitude. In this case, magnitude lang yung oras kasi wala naman direction yung oras. Now, for example, balikan natin ito. Let's say meron tayong initial position ng ating particle. Yung ating particle initially ay nandito. Nasa 18, negative 2, tsaka 16. Ito yung initial coordinate niya. Therefore, our initial vector position or our initial position vector is 18i minus 2j. For a while, naglalag kasi yung aking tablet. 2j plus 16k. And then, let's say nagbago yung kanyang position ng 20, 18, and 7. Okay, therefore, its I prime would be 20i plus 18j plus 7k. Therefore, kung kukunin natin yung ating displacement vector, delta r, that would be r prime minus r. Ano yung r prime natin? We have here 20i plus 18j plus 7k minus 18i minus 2j rather, plus 16k. Therefore, here our delta r would be First is we have 20i minus 18i plus we have 18j minus negative 2j plus we have here 7k minus 16k. So we have here the position vector as 2i plus 18 minus 2 would be 20j, 7 minus 16 that would be negative 9k. Now for example, yung position na to is nangyari during a delta t of 3 seconds. Nagbago yung position from 3 seconds. Therefore, our V average or our velocity vector, the average velocity vector would be this delta r divided by 3. So we have here 2/3 I plus 20 over 3j minus 3 Okay, this is our average velocity. Now, hindi laging given yung exact value ng position. Sometimes ang nangyayari is that the position of the particle changes with respect to time. For example, ang kanyang position, sinabi nung problem, R is equivalent to 16t squared I minus 3t cubed j plus k. So, ito yung sinabi ngayon na position ng ating particle. Now, since the particle includes t, time, therefore, magbabago yung position niya kapag nagbago yung oras. Paano natin kukunin yung velocity? Dito napapasok yung tinatawag nating instantaneous velocity. Na-discuss ko na yung ibig sabihin ng instantaneous last time, pero balikan lang natin. Instantaneous meaning at any given point. Okay? So, in this case, paano natin kukunin? We can get the instantaneous velocity by simply getting the derivative of this r with respect to time. Now, dito, yung velocity vector ngayon natin, the instantaneous velocity, get the derivative of this will be 32t I minus 9t squared j. And the derivative of constant is 0, so we have plus 0k. Okay? This is now your instantaneous velocity. Ngayon, kung bibigyan kita ng oras at t is equal to 3 seconds, pwede mong makuha yung velocity at that certain instant. Okay? Kaya siya tinawag na instantaneous velocity. Now, to determine ngayon the magnitude of the velocity or yung speed ng particle, pwede mong gawin is get the arc length. Since curve yung motion ng particle, there will be a length. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is yung length na naka-arc. Kanina, the position vector just represents the change in the position, yung shortest. Okay, diretso lang. Pero in this case, ang kukunin mo na is the arc length S. Okay? So, makukuha mo naman yan. Marami naman formula. Sabi natin, S is equal to R theta. Pwede mo lang ilipat ito into polar form. Kunin mo yung delta R, get the polar form, and then you have your S. Okay? And to get the magnitude of the speed, that would be the first derivative of our arc length S with respect to time. For the acceleration, with the same manner, pwede natin kunin yung average acceleration. Kunin nyo lang yung change in velocity from v prime to minus the initial v divided by the change in time. As you can see here, v is still in vector form. Okay? So the instantaneous velocity is likewise can be determined using differentiation. Okay, so here now, you can now describe the motion of a particle traveling on a curvilinear path using a vector formulation. Okay, so hindi na tayo limited lang sa scalar. Okay, now let's proceed with the rectangular components. Actually, introduction lang ito, wala namang nothing fancy about it. We just want you to have an idea on how the motion of the particle on a curved path is described, okay, in terms of position, velocity, acceleration, displacement, etc. Okay? Ngayon, punta na tayo sa may calculation. Andito na tayo sa curvilinear motion in rectangular components. Balikan natin kanina, 'di ba? Yung particle natin nagta-travel on the three-dimensional space. So it's simpler to track where it is or it is fast, how fast it's going and how its speed is changing by using the coordinate x, y, and z. So mas madali daw i-discuss or i-describe yung motion ng particle using x, y, and z, the magnitude x, y, and z. Now from your vector, we will now determine the magnitude and the direction of our particle. Okay? So for the position, sabi natin kanina, this one is already formulated on our initial discussion. Sabi dito, if the particle is at a position x, y, and z on the curve path as shown, then its location is defined by a position vector. So ito yung ginawa natin kanina. So you have your r equal to xi plus yj plus zk. So at any instant, the magnitude of r is, so kung kukunin daw natin yung magnitude ng r, that would be the square root of x squared plus y squared plus z squared. And the direction of r is specified by a unit vector. Mu r is equivalent to the vector r over the magnitude r. This is now your direction. For the position, likewise, we will get the first derivative. Okay? So, paano ba nakuha yan? So, balikan lang natin. Since ang sabi natin, dr over dt is our velocity. And that would be the derivative with respect to time ng xi plus the derivative with respect to time ng yj. Am I recording? Check ko lang. I'm recording naman. Plus the derivative with respect to time ng zk. Okay. So, kunin lang muna natin itong isa kasi pare-pareho naman ang paraan ng pagdi-derivative. Kasi derivative of a product, meron kang x, meron kang y, so derivative of a product. So, to determine the derivative with respect to time ng xi, gagamit tayo ng derivative of the product, which will be yung tinatawag nyong bdu plus udv. Okay? So, yan yung gagamitin natin. So, assuming this is our u, this is our v, therefore, we have here, okay, the derivative, kunin ko muna to, yung u, v muna, I, multiplied by the derivative of x with respect to time, plus, x, multiplied to the derivative of I with respect to time. Okay? So, since constant naman ito, there is no magnitude, tama? This will be 0. Therefore, the derivative of xi with respect to time would be, this will be dx over dt or the velocity at x, I. Okay? Multiplied by I. Ito, 0 na. So, likewise, pwede mong gawin yan dito sa natitirang dalawang term, sa yj and sa ck. That is why, kag dumating sa velocity, this will be just vxi plus byi plus bzk. Take note of this. Pagdating dito, yung v natin is hindi na sila naka-bold. Therefore, they are not a vector quantity, but rather magnitude na lang. The magnitude of the horizontal velocity, the magnitude of the, horizontal din actually. Another horizontal velocity plus the magnitude of the vertical velocity, where bx is dx over dt, by is dy over dt, and vz is dz over dt. The velocity has a magnitude of v. Likewise, kung paano natin sinolve yung ating magnitude ng position, ganun din naman yung magnitude of the velocity as well as the direction. Okay? For the acceleration, pwede nyong gawin yung ginawa natin kanina, get the derivative of vi, vxi, you will get the same. This is your result. Pareho lang nung kalalabasan. And pareho lang din ng formula. Pagdating sa magnitude, pero pagdating sa position. Pero take note of this. Si velocity, the direction ng ating velocity is always tangent to the curve. Okay? Yung velocity is always tangent to the curve. Pero pagdating sa acceleration, hindi na siya tangent to the curve. Okay? Bakit ba yung velocity ay tangent to the curve? Kasi for example, ikaw, tumatravel ka sa kurbada. Okay? Yung sasakyan mo, dito nakaharap. Okay? Yung velocity mo at this instant is papunta dito. Hindi niya sinusundan yung curve. Okay? Yung direction ng sasakyan mo is papunta rito. You will just use the steering wheel para yung direction na to is unti-unting magbago. Pagka nandito ka na, o pagka nag-move na yung sasakyan mo dito, magbabago na yung direction ng iyong velocity. And the direction of the velocity is always tangent to the curve. Okay? Tangent lagi yan sa curve. When we say tangent, kung may example, meron kang radius dito, r, yung tangent is always perpendicular to the radius. Ito yung tangent natin. Laging perpendicular to the radius. Okay? So, ngayon puntahan natin tong sample problem number 1.